Have you ever stopped to think that there are words that should never be said in a prayer? Words that sound innocent, but carry enough spiritual weight to silence the heavens. Thousands pray every day and receive no answer. Perhaps, without realizing it, they are using one of these 4 words. Today, you will discover what you should never say before God. And the last word is so dangerous that it could be cursing your own spiritual life. If you seek more powerful prayers, if you wish to break God's silence, sign up now. Here we reveal secrets that almost no one dares to expose, and that could be erased from the internet at any moment. Get ready. What comes next will change the way you pray forever. The first word may seem like humility, but in truth, it is a whisper of spiritual weakness. She seems harmless, even pious. A word spoken in a low voice, with eyes closed and a heavy heart, if it's possible. How many times have you started a prayer like this? If it's possible, Lord, heal me. If it's possible, help me. If it's possible, change my life. But what lies behind that expression is not humility, it's disguised doubt. It's as if you were praying with fear of the answer, like someone apologizing for asking for too much. You were not called to beg, you were called to declare. Jesus said, "Whatever you ask for in prayer, believing, you will receive." Matthew 21:22. Interestingly, the only time Jesus said, "if it is possible," was in Gethsemane in agony, about to be handed over to death. And even then he adds, "Yet not your will, but yours be done." But many today stopped at that first part and live with a defeated faith. By using "if it's possible," you are questioning God's power. In other words, you are saying, maybe God doesn't want to, maybe he can't. This phrase weakens your spiritual authority. You are not a beggar before the throne. You are a son. What if I told you that this word might have been sabotaging your prayers for years without you even realizing it? But hold on, because the next word is even more subtle and even more poisonous. She enters stealthily, like a silent shadow. A single word, small, but laden with uncertainty. Maybe God will hear me. Maybe he will heal me. Maybe my life will change someday. But this maybe isn't faith. It's spiritual poison disguised as hope. It's like planting a seed, hoping it will rain, but already anticipating that the ground might dry up. The Bible says that faith is the assurance of things hoped for. Hebrews 11:1. Confirmation, not doubt, not supposition, but maybe, destroys that certainty. It's a crack in the soul through which fear enters. James was clear. The one who doubts is like a wave of the sea. That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. James 1:6-7. Can you feel the weight of that? By saying maybe, you are saying to God, I don't fully trust you. And what's most frightening, many say maybe even amidst praise, preaching, vows, and fasting. Hearts are divided, and heaven remains silent. You were not called to live in the who knows mindset. You were called to believe boldly. The prayer that moves the supernatural begins with conviction, not with assumption. But if maybe opens the door to doubt, the next word opens an even deeper wound, resentment towards heaven. She seems genuine, natural human, but when said incorrectly, it carries an accusation against heaven itself. The word is why. Why me, Lord? Why hasn't it happened yet? Why does everything go wrong for me? It is at this moment that the tone of the prayer changes, from supplication to demand, from faith to murmuring. And what many don't realize is that excessive why can turn into disguised rebellion. Job questioned, yes, but he never cursed. The people in the desert, however, when they asked, why did God bring us out of Egypt, received silence and then judgment. There are questions that don't arise from a search for understanding, but from resentment. And heaven doesn't answer murmuring, it answers faith. When you say why, you're saying, I deserve better. You're putting God in the dock. But the true worshiper learns to trust, even in the dark. Like David, who said, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. He didn't ask why, he simply trusted. And that is the difference between a prayer that rises and one that falls into the void. And if the why disconnects you from God, the next word is even darker. She doesn't question it, she gives up. If this makes sense to you so far, share this video now with someone who prays every day but lives without answers. You might be saving someone from God's silence. Of all the words one can say in prayer, this is the most silently destructive. She doesn't shout, she whispers. And when she does, it seems like peace. But it's surrender to despair. The word is, it doesn't matter. Perhaps you've already said this after a long wait. After so many unanswered prayers, so many fasts, tears, broken promises. Oh Lord, it doesn't matter. But this expression is a spiritual testament to the fact that hope has died. It's not surrender to God, it's giving up on faith. It's the point where the heart grows weary and the soul falls silent. And when you pray saying it doesn't matter, heaven understands that you no longer believe in what you're asking for, that the request has become a formality and the altar has become routine. The Bible is full of people who almost said that. Hannah, barren and humiliated, could have given up. But instead of saying whatever, she prayed with bitterness of soul. And God heard her. Elijah in the desert asked to die. But even then, God responded with bread and water. Now listen carefully. When you say it doesn't matter, you are burying your own prayers. You are closing the door you so desperately wanted to open. That word is a curse disguised as surrender. And perhaps you said it last night. But now you know. And when knowledge arrives, darkness loses its power. Are you ready to change the way you pray? Because what comes next is the most important decision of your spiritual life. Now you know. There are words that seem harmless, but carry the power to close the heavens, if possible. Maybe. Why? It doesn't matter. Or small expressions, but they may be destroying your connection with God. You prayed sincerely, you cried, you waited, but perhaps without realizing it, you used words that heaven does not answer. Today, you've had access to something that almost no one dares to say. And now, the choice is yours. Will you continue praying as before? Or will you begin to use words that release God's power in your life? If this video truly resonated with you, write in the comments, "I will never say those words again." This phrase can be your declaration of change and the beginning of a new life of prayer. And if that mystery surprised you, imagine the next one. Sign up now before this truth is erased from the internet.